Good morning, students. So this is lecture 4 of chapter number 1, The Rise of Nationalism in Europe, class 10, subject history. So in the previous few lectures, we have discussed about this chapter in parts, and we have discussed about the first series where there was French Revolution and how this nationalism concept came in Europe. Then we have discussed in the second series about how does this nationalism had made Europe a better nation, how does this nationalism came up in Europe and brought this feeling of nationalism in the people of Europe. Now in this particular lecture, we will talk about the third series of this chapter, which is the age of revolutions from 1830 till 1848. And in this particular series, we will discuss about the romanticism and nationalism, hunger, hardship and popular revolt, and the revolution of the liberals. So basically in this particular topic, in this particular series, we'll discuss about these particular topics. So basically we are going to start with the age of revolution, how this age of, what does it actually brought up in from 1830 to 1848. So you all know about the conservatism which was going on till 1815, which came up after the Napoleon have died. So they brought that monarchy system again of that kings and queens, where these Bourbon kings were there to restore all the powers of and restricted all this constitutional power at the which was going on because of this Napoleon who brought these constitutional series. So he have banished that and he have brought up this Bourbon king dynasty again. And in that particular time, in 1830 to 1848, there was a period of depression. Basically, the crops were not able to build, and the industries were building up, and because of that, the people were they were not able to work with these upper class people. So there was a depression scene that was going on in Europe at that particular time, and in that period, the return of this constitutional monarchy in France in 1830 under this Louis Philippe came up in basically in July Revolution. So basically there was a revolution that came up in 1830 in July, which was by this Louis Philippe, who brought up this constitutional monarchy in France, and he have taken both these middle class people and the lower class peasants with him to fight it back for this constitutional monarchy that they wanted back. They want that the equality should be there before law. So they want the same, and this Bourbon dynasty which was going on at that particular time should be vanished at that time only. And at the end of this conservative dominance and reshoring of this liberal nationalism, in 1830 only, this conservatism which was going on by this Bourbon dynasty, there was a success for these middle class and this lower class people who are living there, and they got that success. They were able to dominate this particular system which was going on there, and they got this concept of liberal nationalism in the hearts of people in Europe. But that was not all. How this all the feeling of nationalism should be brought in each and every person of Europe. So there was a time that they were in question that how we could brought this feeling of nationalism in the hearts of the people of Europe. So soon they have following this same revolutionary principles at that point of time, and there were certain regions that are there, basically Belgium. They also found and gained independence from Netherlands. There was a war that was going on between Belgium and Netherlands from a very long time for their own language, for their own space. So because of that diverse culture that was going on at that point of time, this Belgium also tried to fought back for their own rights, and they got that right from Netherlands, and they got independent as they fought it as an independent nation, and they got that independence for themselves at that time. And an important event was there when the rise of nationalism in Greece took place. So this nationalism was going on in each and every part of Europe. and it goes to Greece also. And when it came in Greece, there were many people who were working under this Bourbon dynasty. They cribbled, they literally cribbled, and these Europeans, they basically want that this European civilization and public opinion should support their struggle against a Muslim empire. So basically, they were under a Muslim empire. They were this Bourbon dynasty was there, and there were Muslim kings who were ruling these Greece people out there, and they also want some independence as an independent nation. They want to come out from then from it, and then a part of this Turkish Ottoman Empire came up. There was a Turkish Ottoman Empire that came up with them, and that when this nationalism was going on in entire part of this Europe, they started. They also started struggling that why should we the one that we should struggle with these empire system that is going on in their particular nation. So they also want to fight it back. So they tried that a war that has been gone at that particular time, and that war was called as the Treaty of Constantinople. So about this thing, which is Treaty of Constantinople. So basically, this was the fight that they have gained success as an independent nation from this Turkish empire that was going on. Basically, this Muslim empire, which from where they were struggling at, they fight it back with them, and they got independence from them. And this Greek Revolution actually began in 1821 with the support from these exiled Greeks, West European nations, and other groups also. So the other parts of the Europeans also tried to help them to gain this independence. And in 1832, Greece gained its independence after signing the Treaty of Constantinople. So this was it in the age of revolution, where this all started. They started for their independent nation. So all the parts of the Europe, all the parts, basically all the small continents, the part of this Europe started for fighting back for their independence from this Bourbon dynasty which was going on. And because of that, there was a depression season that is happening at that point of time. The crops were not building up, the people are not working under this upper class people, and there was a straight depression which was going on there. The economy was at a very risk, and these different industries that was building up, they were making this other class, that was the middle class, which was building up at that point of time. So all these things were going on in the age of revolution. Now there was one more concept that came in the age of revolution was romanticism. So basically, when there's all this fight, war is going on, how this romanticism, concept of this romanticism came in the heart of Europe. So basically, a romanticism is not about the romance. It is basically a concept of love for their own nation. So basically, romanticism brought a concept of love for their nation in a way so that the feeling of this nationalism should be there in the heart of each and every people who are living in Europe. So they want that to happen. They want that those who have their common culture, language, and they have their common heritage and emotional appeal towards their particular nation, they should feel that nationalism within themselves. So for that, they have brought certain different ways to feel these things. So basically, they try to liberate people with music, with poetry, with folk dances and other things, so that this feeling of nationalism should be there in the heart of the people. And this movement was called Polish movement. Basically, this Polish movement was to exaggerate the feeling of nationalism in the heart of the people through some ethnic ways. Basically, some romanticism is all about writing poetries, different languages of music and dances. So this is basically romanticism. So all these people tried some basic reasons and signs. So how it can all came. So like in India also, when our national song or national anthem has been sung, we all stand together, and what we do, we sang that song, and that song literally brought goosebumps to many of our people. We do it in such a way that it brought patriotic feeling in the hearts of our people. So what it is doing, it is giving us a feeling of nationalism in the heart of the people who are living in that particular nation. Likewise in Europe at that particular time, what they thought, so that if we write in poetry, we give this different language their own importance with the poetry's music or folk dance, it can inherit the feeling of nationalism in the hearts of each and every people who are living there. So this criticized the importance given in reason and science. Their major movements were basically in Germany, and it was invented by John Gottfried Herder, and he gave the idea of this Das Volk and Volkisch things. Basically, he was an artist. He was a painter who have drawn a painting about Europe, that he want to free this place from all this now monarchism which was going on from years and years, and he wants that the people should live with harmony and peace, and they should be happy from themselves. They should not be they should not brought that feeling of depending on any other person, for depending on other things, and they want equality, basically a liberal nation. And this there was some German Grimm brothers. They have this collected German folk tales. So there was people who are living in German. They were certainly good artists also. So these artists, basically the Grimm brothers, they have made certain folk tales, certain music folk tales for the people of Germany, and for basically all the people around their continent, so that the feeling of this nationalism should came in the heart of people. And this movement was called as Polish movement, and they kept alive this Polish nationalist feeling through some ethnic language. Ethnic language means if there are a group of people, those who have their common culture and language, so they are bringing up with that ethnic language. Then music is really an important part when in romanticism, because it can connect to people with each other. Then poetry, you can feel the sense of togetherness, belongingness with poetries, and folk dances while under this Russian rule. So they have brought up all these things to build up this nationalist feeling in the hearts of the people of Europe who are living there. So now there was another thing that was there in the age of revolution, was there was certainly hunger, hardship and popular revolt. So basically I have told you that there was a great economic depression that came up in 1830, and it was gone from very lot of years. And the first half of the 19th century, they have seen a lot. There was an increase in population also in Europe, and in most of the countries there were more seekers of job for the employment. So basically the population was also increasing, and the job seekers for the employment was also increasing at that point of time. And the population from these rural areas, they were also migrated from the cities to live in this overcrowded slums. So basically the people who are living in these cities, many were transferred to this overcrowded slums, and these small producers, they were in the town. They were also often faced many competition from the importers and this cheap machine made goods from England, where this industrialization was advanced at that particular time and in each part of the continent. And this was especially so that this production of textile and other products that are being made there were workshops that have been made there, should get some of the money at that point of time. So there was a very increasing economic hardship during this 1830s, and there was unemployment. There was this urban competition was building up from machine-made goods from England. So basically, how this came up, because the machines are there, so they don't want workers to give them wages. They were not getting job, and because the machines were doing all their job, and they were dues were there, the rising food prices were there, and failed crops. So the crops were not able to build up. That quality was not there. There were lack of crops at that particular time. The food prices was also increasing at that point of time, and there were many landlords and many renters who were not able to pay their rents on time. So there was a very hardship time that was going on at that point of time, and in the because of these, in some of the regions of the Europe, there were aristocracy people who enjoyed their powers, and the peasants who were struggling, they were burdened of the feudal dues also. So aristocracy, they don't have to give money to these renters, but there were peasants who were working under these people. They have to pay the rentals of their house. So they were not getting any money from anywhere. So they were federal dues also at that point of time, and the rise of this food prices over year and year again, and there was bad harvest also that spread all these things. And the popular revolt in France in 1848 resulted in Louis Philippe's felling, and the France declared a republic with voting for all men above 21, and national workshops were for more employment. So basically, in the year 1848, it was one such a year where food shortage and widespread employment was brought the population of Paris out on the roads. Basically, the people were living on the roads because the population was so increased that there were no space for them to live in particular houses. And where this Louis Phillips had flew up from that particular continent in France, that the war came up, and this popular revolt that had been made, the National Assembly proclaimed a republic, granted suffrage to all the adult males above 21. So when this revolt was going on in 1848, when Louis Phillips had been gone from France, and France was declared as a voting as a national republic, so all the voting right for the men above 21 and national workshops were also being employed at that particular time. So that was a good thing that was going on at that point of time, that election for the men was open, but for the women it was not still open at that point of time also. And in 1845, there were some waivers that were in Silesia. They had led a revolt against the contractors also, who have supplied them raw material, and they gave them orders for finished textiles, but drastically they have reduced their payments. So what happened at that point of time, that they were giving them raw material, and they have also asked them to finish that particular things, but the payments that they were getting, it was not the same that was asked by them. So there was a cheating case that was going on. The contractor has cheated them. He has said them that he will give them the amount, but he gave them less amount which he has assured them to give them. So they surrounded his house and demanded higher wages, and he was getting threatened from them, and they attacked his house and destroyed his goods. So in the villages, they all gathered up together in his house. Basically, there was a thing that was going on 4th June at 2 p.m. There was a large crowd where he was emerged from their homes, and they have surrounded his house and demanded higher wages, and they have getting him threatened from all the things, and they have attacked his house and destroyed his goods. So all the things what was happened in this hunger, hardship, and popular revolt. So you can see in this picture how they have revolted around his house, and they have actually attacked his house, and they have finished all the goods that was there in his house. And the third main thing that happened in the age of revolution was the liberal revolution in Germany. So basically the revolt of the poor, unemployed and starving peasants and workers in many European countries in the year 1848, a revolution led by these educated middle class people. They have fought some events for them so that they can abolish this monarchy system, and they could brought this liberal revolutionary system with all of them. So they have inspired many of the events in Feb 1848 in France, and this liberal revolutionaries consisting of this middle class educated professionals and merchants set up a German National Assembly. So they have set up their own National Assembly. They have set up their own constitutional setup where they included the peasants and the lower class people, and the middle class people came together as a whole, and they have set up this German National Assembly. And in May 48, a group of 831 elected representatives met together and decided on a system of constitutional monarchy. And on basically after that they were basically 831 elected representatives by this German National Assembly. They have set together and they have met together and decided on a system of constitutional monarchy. And this King Friedrich William IV of Prussia rejected their offer. So when they came up with this constitutional monarchy to the King Friedrich William IV of Prussia, they have rejected their offer, and the lower peasants class too protested at the lack of representation. So the lower peasant class, they were also protested with them so that they can want this movement, and this led to a weakening of a liberal movement, and the disbanding of this assembly was making at that point of time. So this was all that have been happened there. Now the homework solution. So the first question that I have given you here was that what is the caricaturist trying to depict? So basically the caricaturist depicting the club of liberal nationalists which dates back in 1820, and conservative regimes were set up in 1815, and these regimes were autocratic. They were not able to tolerate criticism and dissent. They crowded all the actions which put a question mark on the legitimacy of autocratic governments, and most of the regiments had imposed censorship law to have control over freedom of the press and over songs motivating the idea of liberty. And the question 2 that I have given you was about discuss the importance of language and popular traditions in the creation of national identity. So here the language and the popular tradition is the key to representation of a national identity. A person is known by these two features in a foreign land, and every nation has its own mode of communication, culture and traditions. And when a person go abroad, then he represents his nation by these two characters. For example, Chinese don't believe in learning new languages, rather than they are endeavoring to promote their own language. Often they take translators when with them on visits to other countries, and then the same time in the case with tradition. Then in India, these traditions are so fascinating that other countries imitate their tradition like Diwali and etc. So this is the solution of the homework that I have given you. Now homework for today is that you have to read the chapter carefully and you have to solve the NCERT question number 1 and 2 given in your NCERT textbook on page number 28 from Writing Brief. So you have to solve those two questions, and if you have any queries you can ask me in the comment section or in the student query section. Thank you.